Today, we're going to discuss what motivates people to buy, how to take away the reasons why they may not buy, and how to blow up your sales. Welcome to this week's DMC Marketing Nugget.
Get ready for insider secrets and tactics from successful business owners and industry titans. Welcome your host with the most, marketing master, best-selling author, and CEO of DMC and Printivision, the guy that wants your business to thrive, Devin Herz.
Our guest today more than doubled his income in just 6 months, and over the next year, doubled it again. Since then, he has fine-tuned his process for business and personal growth into an easy-to-follow 4-step system, which we'll discuss today. Today, we have Terry, and he is an international speaker and author of Attract and Keep Customers for Life, 4 Abilities to Build Trust, Communicate Your Value, and Charge What You're Worth. Welcome, Terry Begue.
Thanks so much, Devin. It's great to be here and look forward to talking about all these things that I did in my business that did cause it to blow up, and hopefully other people can get something from that.
Well, we appreciate you being here. So from what I've heard, you got started in the painting business. How did you end up venturing into the sales and speaker world?
Well, I needed to make sales when I started my business. It was I was at both ends of the spectrum. I like to say when I started, I was, for lack of a better term, I was a train wreck. I didn't have any business skills or selling skills, even little painting skills, but I wasn't going to give up. I was determined to make it work. And it took about 8 or 9 or 10 years to figure things out. But once I did, everything just went crazy for me. And it still is to this day. I could run 2, maybe 3 crews if I wanted, but I'm getting closer to retirement. I'm happy to just do just the very easiest, best paying jobs, working for the owners who I worked for before. So my business is all repeat and referral business now, and that's probably the best business in any business, I think, and that's where I'm at today and loving life.
Excellent. Well, I want to dig in a little bit further on how you went from a business that was maybe struggling a little bit to really, doubling it and then doubling it again. So I know you have these 4 areas of focus that have helped you do that. So today, if you don't mind, I'd love you to share those with our audience, and hopefully that will help them out with their sales as well.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Absolutely. My book is broken down into 4 parts, and what's what I call the 4 abilities. And they are likability, believability, trustability, and WOWability. The first 3 are soft selling skills, you might say, and they're all about building a relationship, but even more so building trust with the customers, because I found that's what it's all about. When you have loyal customers, people who aren't just satisfied, but they're blown away with your business, they're loyal customers, things are really easy at that point, because those kind of people, those loyal customers, they will wait till you can get to them. They'll never question your price. They'll tell all their friends about what it was like, the experience of working with you, and you can command a higher dollar. I basically set the pricing for the type of painting that we do in our area, because everybody looks at me as the industry expert, I guess. After 44 years, in my niche, you might say, I do dominate that market, and even other painters recommend us for that type of work, which is the niche that we do, which is exterior spray painting houses with just a small crew of 2 to 3 guys plus me. Some days we do about 100 houses a summer that we paint, so we knock them out pretty fast. But once I figured out that system, I had a new problem. I didn't have enough business. I couldn't keep my calendar full, because we go through the jobs so quickly. And that's when I had to get focused on selling paint jobs. And that was a whole nother world for me, figuring that part out. I had to basically interview my customers. I mean, literally ask them, why did you hire me? What did you like about us? What didn't you like? Why didn't you hire us? Talking to salespeople, other business owners. And I discovered it all came down to trust. But being trusted, it takes some time to build that level of trust. And I needed to do it in a very short time. So what I realized is that before they'll trust me, I had to make myself more believable to them. So in my book, I talk about little habits that you could do to create believability. But even before that, likability. That was the That's the start of everything, is making yourself likable to your prospects so you can build towards trust.
Allow DMC to help you build an empire. Whether you crave the local limelight or global domination, being recognized as the clear choice takes deliberate action. Dynamic marketing consultants can equip you to tame the competition and become king of the beasts. It's a jungle out there, so eat or be eaten. Schedule your introductory call today at yourdmc.com.
Yeah, I would say that, people love to put their services out there, and there's many painters out there, construction guys, roofing guys. So a lot of people do the same thing, but they don't necessarily buy your product or service. They're buying you. So building that likability, and I think trust, especially in that type of world, is huge this day and age, because so many people have been burned. They call for bids and they don't get the calls back. So being someone that they like is definitely a great step number one. Now, when we go to believability, we talked about that, and that really helps bridge your prospects from liking you to trusting you. So that's another nice focus, for you. How did you convey that to your clients and really build that believability and trustability there?
The way I did it is once, the likability was all about being on time, keeping your promises, listening to the customer, their problem, before you start talking about what you do. But once that likability is developed, it's exactly what you said. It was too big of a leap to go from like to trust. So what I use to bridge that is, and that's the very words I use in my book too. It's funny that you said that. Building that bridge is about following through on your promises, that they see that you're the real deal, that you're going to do what you say you do. That your website is one thing I talk about as being creating believability, because I usually send them there. I say, if you get a chance to check us out at beguepainting.com, and they see a long list of testimonials, they see the types of work that we do, and that alone creates a ton of believability. That and belonging to organizations. On my website, they'll see I'm a member of a Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating, and belong to some other organizations. So that was another thing that creates believability. And so basically, the believe part was just following through. You're showing your customer that you're the real deal. You do what you say you're going to do. I'm never late for a bid. I always call when I'm on my way, and they love that kind of stuff. And it does, and it's all those little, we don't want to say we judge, but especially in this industry, we're being judged every day. And you're on stage, people are trying to make a decision whether they should go with you or not. And to create a service that commands the top dollar, you really got to build that trust. And those were the first two steps. I'll stop there.
Okay. All right. So now you got the believability there, and I think it's so important to do what you say you're going to do, to show up on time, and even be there ahead of time. It just instantly gives them that sense of, hey, this is a person that cares about their business. They're doing what they're saying they're going to do, which then leads into your ability number 3, which is the trustability. So the trust factor of everything, building that credibility, the authority, like you're saying, using those logos to build that credibility of the foundations that you're part of. I know using testimonials and case studies is always a great way to build trust. Are there any specifics on your side that you would recommend as far as the trustability segment?
Another thing that I do that does create a lot of trust is I extend trust first to my customers. And the way I do that is with what I call risk reversal. And this would work in any industry pretty much, definitely in the trades and the service industries. And what I mean by that is I just got a job day before yesterday from a doctor, and we're on the phone. He says, yeah, I want you to do the work. What's my next step? I got to sign the contract and send that to you, or you pick it up, or how much money do you need up front? And I said, no, you don't need to do either of those things. I don't require a contract or a signed contract, rather. I write out a proposal and I sign it just so it's clear exactly what we're going to do. And when they see how well written it is, how detailed it is, they see that I take my business seriously. And the second thing was money down. I said, no, we don't ask for money up front, which there that creates a lot of trust right there, because so many people, I mean, it's almost every week I hear of a customer who got burnt by somebody who took the down payment and was gone. And I tell them, I don't even ask to be paid until you tell me you're happy with the work. So the risk is on us. And that's why I call it risk reversal. They take no chance by hiring us. And some business owners have challenged that for me. They said, you can't do that. You'll get burnt. And I was afraid of that at first too. But during those years when I had to make this work, I took the chance. And I'm happy to say I've painted over 5,000 homes now, and I've only been burnt one time. And that was a long time ago. I should have saw it coming, because that guy was going to burn me either way. I think he never intended to pay. And but I still do it because of all the other thousands of people that have, loved our service, just because I've extended. One of the reasons is because I extend trust first.
Sure. Yeah. And you're trusting in those clients, and then they're trusting in you. And yes, we're all going to be burned. If you've been in
Mm-hmm.
business long enough, you're going to experience that, unfortunately. So, try to
Mm-hmm.
be as smart as possible to have the clients that you want to work with. And just this type of trust and
Mm-hmm.
believability and all these things. I'm assuming you're mentioning at the beginning of our show that a lot of your business now is referral based. So that's amazing
Mm-hmm.
that you don't necessarily have to spend tons of marketing dollars out there, because you've built that trust through the years. So this next
Mm-hmm.
segment here, number 4 that you have, I'll let you talk about that, because I think you may have created a brand new word for Webster's dictionary here. But tell us about number 4 of your abilities.
Okay, that would be WOWability. And another word for that, the way I put it in my book, is look at it as referrals on steroids, because that's just what it is. When you wow your customer, you do more than you promised, then they're going to remember you. They're going to want everybody to know, because so many times, people are all excited to get something done in their neighborhood, and the neighbors see them getting it done, and then they ask them, and then they're embarrassed to even tell them what happened, because it never goes the way, it rarely goes the way it should go. But when they come out looking like they made the right hire, they'll leave for work in the morning, and while they're leaving, we're setting up. And by the time they drive home, a lot of times we're cleaning up, and they look like a genius in front of their family, their neighbors. And that's, I believe that's really huge, because they don't forget that. Even when I'm working for the elderly, I'll do little things. Another thing that I do, that I have categorized under WOWability, is doing even more than you say you're going to do. And an example of that is, if I'm working for an elderly person mostly, or anyone who has really nasty gutters. We have rain gutters here in Ohio, and they get all clogged up with leaves and muck and I don't know what else. But we clean those out while we're up there. I mean, we're on the ladder, we're right there. It's an easy thing to do. If we're painting inside, we change out the light bulbs, or offer to. And while the furniture's moved away from the walls, we offer to vacuum behind the walls. Usually they do it, but we wait until it's done before we put things back. The point I'm making is, we do little tiny extras that don't cost hardly anything, but that's what the customer remembers. They don't always remember the job you did, but they'll always remember the way you made them feel. And that's where we're at in our business. If something, and not everything, I shouldn't make it sound like everything goes perfectly well with everything that I do. There are times when things go bad, but those always can be repaired with just having
Sure.
conversations. And that's why I mentioned that in the subtitle of my book. Communicating Your Value is about having those open conversations with your customers, because they know you're human. Mistakes happen. So another part, and I probably didn't touch on WOWability enough with that one story, but it's about um, testimonials. That those wow my customers when they see a list so long that they would never read them all. Or risk reversal could fit in there too as well, because not a lot of guys do that. Although they all really do that, because most legit contractors, if something's not right, they'll make it right, but they don't use that as a selling point. They assume the risk, but they don't get the value of it by using it as a selling point.
Yeah, I think that's a great nugget there. And the fact that, I mean, we're sitting here talking to someone that runs a successful painting business, and now you're a speaker and author, that just alone build your credibility up tenfold. So, I think what another message would be to some of these people out there, that don't be stuck in your day to day and just think that's all there is for you. There are other opportunities to build credibility. And if you enjoy speaking, if you enjoy coaching, you enjoy consulting, potentially open your eyes and look to see how that could potentially help you and your business and your lifestyle out. So kudos to you for, going from a successful painting business, still running that, and now having a successful speaking business. So are there any other tips or nuggets that you want to share with our audience? You've been in business for quite some time now. Anything else that you would maybe have told your 20-year-old self that you would have changed or done differently back in the day?
I'm so glad you asked that question, Devin, because that's something that whenever I get off a podcast, I think, oh, I forgot to mention if somebody doesn't ask me. And the one thing I would say to myself, and this was the huge mistake in my life, I look back at it and I think, what was I thinking? Is I never asked for help. I started my business when I was 18 years old, and I didn't figure things out until the day my wife said to me, Terry, I'm pregnant. And I was like 28 at that time. So for those 10 years, it was like I was one lost job from bankruptcy. I was always right on the edge, and I was never going to get better, even though I kept telling her it was going to get better. But the reason it did is because I got smart and I joined some professional organizations, and I started asking for help and reaching out. I'm old. There was no internet when I started, so I couldn't talk to painters from the other side of the country with Facebook or whatever. I had to talk to people in my area, and they kind of keep the secret because you're the competition, But now in this day and age, reach out to people for help if you need it. It'll take years off the learning curve, and I can imagine where I'd be today if I would have not waited until 10 years, to figure things out first. So the biggest thing I would say if I was looking at myself again at that age is ask for help. People will help you. They'll go out of their way if they're real, and successful people, they want other people to be successful. They don't begrudge anything. I've learned. So ask for help. Look for someone who's where you want to be and ask them how they got there. They'll help you. Yeah. And that's my big lesson I want to leave. And hopefully that's helpful.
It is very helpful, and that's really why we do this type of show, because I feel that we've been successful. I have been to the bottom. I have failed miserably in business or when I started, and had the ups and downs, and really perfected things through the years. So if we can share that knowledge with people, and it's going to help them grow and help their business out, that really is gratifying to me. So yes, there's tons of people out there that are willing to help. There's tons of content out there now that you can get help from. And I believe you even have a new course to help struggling business owners. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Great, thank you. The title is just what it is. It's Unnoticed to Unforgettable. And that's where my business is. And I was unnoticed for the longest time. So this is, once I created the book, people were asking me how I could help more. They had other questions and they were reaching out to me, and I was happy to talk to them. But I learned that I need to create a course, and I take them by the hand. I show them exactly what they need to do, looking at the mistakes I made. We avoid those, of course. And the workbook's over 100 pages. I believe there's 25 videos where I talk about every little piece that I've created and that have made a difference in my life. And there's some free giveaways in there that are huge, like the a customer awareness guide, which is a piece of paper you hand your customers, and it totally, once they read it, it puts you on their side. You're no longer an adversary, trying to get their money. You're right there. It creates loyal customers like nothing I've ever seen.
That sounds great, and I think it's awesome to hear too from someone that is running their business. You're not just a consultant, you're not just a speaker, you're not just a coach. You're actually in the grind. You're running a business, and now you're able to share those stories with people, which I feel people can relate more to you sometimes than someone that just is a business consultant that may not have run their business, prior to that. I know you've been kind enough to offer a little freebie out there to all of our watchers, and I'd love to hear more about that. So fill everyone in on what you're able to provide to our guests, or to our audience, I should say.
Okay, what I do have is, I believe if you go to terrybegue.com, it'll probably be in the show notes, I would imagine. And there I have 7 things that you could do today to get more customers that don't cost a dime. Not everything has to cost money, and it's those social skills that get you work that don't cost anything, working on those things. And also, right now, my book, you could go to Amazon and buy it for $14.95, I believe. But if you go to thefourabilities.com, the number 4, in that you can get my book for free. The only thing I'm asking is just pay for shipping. So in the United States, I think it's like $6, and around the world, it's like 11 for the shipping and handling. But the book is free to celebrate. I just updated it and have a revised edition with all kinds of new stuff in there, and you can find that at thefourabilities.com.
Love it. I think the information that you shared with us today is great, and it's going to help these businesses evolve out there. So check out Terry's website. We definitely will have the information in the description for your review. Go out there, buy his book. It's definitely a good one to read and help you out with any of the sales. And just remember to be likable. It's about relationship building, those relationships, making sure that you can relate to your client and that you are able to build that trust over time is going to really help your business grow exponentially. So, Terry, thank you so much for joining us today.
I had a great time, Devin. Thank you so much for giving me all this time. I had a lot of fun.
No problem at all. It was great to have you here. So for those of you out there, you can find us on your favorite streaming platform. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe for more DMC marketing nuggets, and visit dmcmarketingnugget.com to view all of our past episodes. Here's to your success.